It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Into the field! Number 70!
We're talking about practice.
Hello, you play to win the game.
The Yankees are champions of baseball!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
3, 2, 1, happy 2000!
No time on the clock, and the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Short open! Chicago with the lead!
Worldwide Sports Radio Network presents Below the Mark.
Hello! What do you like that, Speedy?
That's fine.
I'm not a singer. I'm definitely not a singer. I got to change that up a little bit. That whole presentation to the introduction of the show has to be a little bit more oomph to the storyline. But anyways, this is Below the Mic. As you guys know, we are live every single Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. Remember, you can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app by going to iOS, which is Apple, WWSRN, or Android, which all you got to do is go into the search Play Store key and put in Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Speedy Petey, how was your voting yesterday? Did you vote?
I did not.
Oh, he's a loser, ladies and gentlemen.
I did not,
An
unfortunately.
unbelievable loser.
Again, the weekend I was going to go to I went to my house I was going to, and then I got sick Sunday night, so I forgot.
Well, you're always getting sick. What's up with you, man? Are you playing Dipsy Doodle, hanging out with yourself after the shows? I don't know what you're doing behind closed doors. Are you having fun, privately with yourself? Are you doing that?
That doesn't affect me getting sick.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do in your spare time. But, I'll tell you this. I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into any of that stuff. I don't really get into politics or religion. But I definitely have to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. When you have the opportunity to just sit back and listen to politicians and just them talking analytics when it comes to politics, when it has nothing to do with sports, it's so amusing. It really is. And not amusing where I'm like, oh my God, I want to watch this. It's amusing where I want to fall the damn sleep, okay? I don't want to keep my eyes open when I watch that. But
that's why I really just followed it on Twitter.
Well, it really annoys the hell out of me. It really does. But nevertheless, that's politics and this is sports. And for some reason, a lot of these athletes want to get their 2 cents involved with the politics, even though they should just keep their mouths quiet and just concentrate on what they're good at or what they're bad at. But anyways, we do this every Below the Mic. By the way, we have a very special guest coming on the show at 7:15, and we will be talking to a Florida State tight end. And if everybody knows a little bit about me, my favorite college team growing up for football was the Florida State Seminoles. So having somebody like this coming to our show, it's going to be a little bit of fun. I can tell him a little bit about my background of loving the Seminoles and my background of just complete hate of the Seminoles because of the last couple of years. But that's just me. Anyways, we do this every single show, every Below the Mic show on Wednesdays. And what do we call this, Speedy?
Sports and entertainment news.
Hit it, you old bastard. The New York Yankees should try to trade Giancarlo Stanton to these teams. One of the teams that appear in this article are the Padres. Now, the Padres have a very good middle of their lineup. Machado and the players that they have, that they've made moves for in the off seasons over the last couple of years. I think this would be an interesting move. But the question is Giancarlo Stanton going to accept that trade? He has a no-trade clause with the Yankees. So I don't know if it's not the Dodgers, I can't see him accepting a trade to the Padres.
I can't see the Padres doing it either because they have a lot of young hitters already.
A lot of money into Manny Machado, too.
Right, and I can't really see them doing that kind of thing. They already traded a lot of prospects to get Mike Clevenger to help out their pitching, and I think if they are going to make a trade, it would be for pitching more than hitting.
Absolutely. Oh, Devin Booker wants to leave Phoenix just after signing a multiple-year deal, 2 years into his contract of $158 million. He wants out. I told you guys he wanted out. And here is the team that is going to be the forefront runner for Devin Booker. There's two of them, the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. I think Devin Booker would be a perfect addition to the New York Knicks. The Knicks need a wingman that can shoot. That's something that they've been lacking for years, since Allen Houston. Yep. If you really look at that. I think Devin Booker would be a perfect fit for the New York Knicks. Gordon Hayward wants out of his final contract ahead of the FA, free agency. I don't know why he wants out. He's making about $25, $28 million. He would not get that in free agency. I guarantee you. Right. Gordon Hayward would not get that kind of money. It's very surprising that he wants out. He did have a good season this year, and he stayed healthy practically the whole season. So it's very interesting to see if he does opt out of that contract.
It would be very dumb to do that.
NFL rumors and news. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense is about to explode. Well, they better be about to explode, because they didn't look good this past week. Okay.
Yeah, they haven't looked the same since Aaron Jones has been hurt the last couple of games.
Yep, and Aaron Jones will be back, I think, this coming week.
Game time decision tomorrow. We'll have to see. He's listed as questionable right now against the 49ers, who Green Bay always struggles with.
Browns GM Andrew Berry avoids talk about Baker Mayfield's future, but he's pleased with the quarterback. Anytime you hear he's pleased with the quarterback, he's about gone. Okay? I don't think it's a big future with Baker Mayfield. He is having a quality season, but I think that has a lot to do with the coaching and the players that he has around him. I don't think it has anything to do with Baker.
Well, I think coaching is better than Freddie Kitchens.
That's true. Romeo Crennel speaks on the Texans not getting a deluxe nut package before trade deadline. What the heck is a deluxe nut package?
Basically, maybe they wanted something huge to make up for all the awful trades Bill O'Brien.
Maybe he wants your nuts. Maybe he wants your nuts.
I doubt they would know about that.
Antonio Brown, I'm here to get back on track. That's what he says. But is he really trying to get back on track, or trying to step right in and try to buy a Super Bowl? Because that's the way I look at it. Antonio Brown never won a Super Bowl.
Nope.
And he never won one of those great Pittsburgh teams with the Ben Roethlisbergers and the players that they had around him, the running games with Le'Veon Bell. That was a pretty damn good team and pretty stocky team. Is he capable of winning a championship with Tampa? Well, maybe if he keeps his mouth shut. I doubt he will. NBA rumors and news. Keeping James Harden happy. Well, keeping up with the Kardashians would keep him happy. I mean, he was with one of them. It didn't work out. So maybe if you add Kendall or Kylie that has a little bit more money than Chloe, that would work. Devin Booker wants out. We said that. The most realistic blockbuster trade, Philadelphia could create a big four with James Harden. I don't know where they're going with this, but I don't see them. First of all, how are they going to be able to keep their guys right now, the Joel Embiids of the world, and the players that they have, and get a player like James Harden for nothing?
Yeah, financially they are cash-strapped too, with all the bench players they overpaid for. You have a new coach, obviously, but again, you're dealing with a case where it's going to be very hard. And I agree. If you're going to trade for Harden, you have to add Simmons or Embiid in the deal.
Warriors trade exception primer. Top targets and how they can help land Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is obviously the Greek Freak. I don't know if they're going to get the Greek Freak, and I don't know if Milwaukee's willing to do something like that, but they have the biggest package. They have the package that could definitely send Giannis over there, or Giannis, to the Golden State Warriors. MLB rumors and news. Top Red Sox executives met with Alex Cora in Puerto Rico. What are they, trying to bring Alex Cora back? Does that make sense? Trevor Bauer rejects the qualifying offer. Is anybody surprised about this? I mean, he wants a big contract. I don't think he wants to stay in Cincinnati. I think he wants to go to a big city, a.k.a. the Boston Red Sox. Beware of that. I believe that's where he's heading.
That's another player I could definitely see for the Padres, too. We were just talking about them earlier.
Blue Jays Vladimir Guerrero Jr. down 32 pounds since the end of the season. That is very big news. Power hitter, tremendous bat speed. Losing some weight could even speed up his bat.
Right.
That's a good move.
Yeah, and again, he had a rough year this year. He was great in this last month of the season in the Blue Jays playoff push, but he did have a down year. Maybe he's trying to improve that bat speed, maybe overall speed, and his defense too, which is already pretty bad to begin with. Maybe that'll help a little there too.
NHL rumors and news pairing with Alex Pietrangelo. 5 options for the Golden Knights blue line. the Golden Knights get Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah, it's
Do
already.
they really need him?
Yeah, that's already a scary defense as it is. I think if they're going to go anywhere else in free agency, it'll probably be more of an offensive move more than defense.
The Islanders sign Ryan Pulock to a 2-year deal to create for him going to arbitration. Up next, Matthew Barzal. They have to do something with Matt.
Right.
And final news of the day, the Pittsburgh Penguins promote Patrick Alvin. Did you hear about this?
No.
Assistant General Manager to be announced today as the Executive Vice President and General Manager, Jim Rutherford.
Yeah. Who's already under a lot of hot water from a lot of Penguins fans. They don't like him right now for some of the moves they made this offseason. And again, they're another team, very cash-strapped. They tried to keep onto their core after they won the Cup, but now they've had a lot of trouble.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is sports and entertainment news. You know, I like to go back and forth on some of these stories, and I read these stories during the day, and some of these writers are pretty damn good. They really are. They're pretty good. But some of these stories are outlandish. They're not possible. They're not going to happen. I'm just very intrigued with the NFL and what's going to happen in the offseason with teams like the Jets, the Browns, even the Buffalo Bills. And everybody keeps talking about how good the Buffalo Bills have been this year. They're 6-2. The last 3 weeks, they haven't looked good.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that kind of peaked early, and now they've leveled out where they're questioning if they could be that elite AFC team, which is going to be very hard with the Steelers, with the Ravens, with the Titans, and obviously the Chiefs.
It's so interesting, and you could go back and forth and banter about some of these stories, but some of them are great writers. And if you guys have never tried or even looked at this website, I'm going to give them a little promotion over here. Give them a little feedback. Go to prosportsdaily.com. It's prosportsdaily.com. You could actually write for them if you want the opportunity to write for them. You can reach out to the organization and write a story and send it to them, see if they like it. If they like it, they'll post it. So very, very good website. Speedy, you like that website?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You showed it to me, 2 years ago, and it's definitely a nice variety for sure.
It very much is, and I think they give you some good stories. The question is, are the stories that really peak out to you? I mean,
people just do it for clicks a lot of the time too. They'll write.
I do it for clicks.
Stuff.
You do it for clicks. You do it for other things. Anyways, I do want to get into more football. And yesterday, somebody very special from the New York Jets organization spoke out. A guy that I've grown very fond of, very well respected in my eyes when it comes to the New York Jets organization. That's Joe Douglas. And some of the things that Joe Douglas said yesterday irk me. It really bothers me as a Jet fan. As a guy that's pretty honest about his team, and his team stinks, and I'm saying his is talking in a third person. I'm talking about me. The New York Jets stink. They're a terrible run organization right now. Joe Douglas is the only bright spot in my eyes for the New York Jets in their organization. Now, what has Joe Douglas done so far? What really sticks out to Jet fans? Well, his draft was pretty damn good. It looks like LaMichael Piron could be a player. Denzel Mims looks like he's going to be a player. Mekhi Beckham looks like he's going to be a player. So his draft, and even a man who looks like he's going to be a very good punter in the NFL, and obviously getting him in the 7th round was a steal in my eyes. He's going to be a good player too. So his first year and his first full year of his draft was significantly good.
Yeah, I don't know how you could blame Joe Douglas for any of this right now because he's done a very good job just putting his mold on the team.
Hold on. I will want to fill in some thoughts with this.
Okay.
His free agency and some of the players he's brought in through free agency has been really, really bad. And now McGovern, I think, a lot of people don't like what the offensive line has done this year. These guys didn't have OTAs. You put 5 guys together in 1 year and expect them to figure things out during a season. That doesn't work.
McGovern's also been hurt a lot, too.
Yeah, well, that's a huge problem. And George Font, who comes from Seattle, he hasn't had a very good year either. And I think it doesn't matter what position he plays. He can play left tackle. He can play right tackle. He can play guard. I don't know what the Jets are going to do with him in the offseason. There's no guarantee that they're going to bring him back. McGovern has 1 more year left on his contract, so they will be bringing McGovern back. And Mekhi Beckham is another guy that they're definitely going to bring back. He's their offensive line star. Right. But besides that, there is nobody on this line. Van Rotten, none of these guys I would bring back. I really wouldn't. And also, some of the things that he said really irk me. The fact that he thinks that Adam Gase is a solution, not a problem. Now, I do believe he just said that. And I know a lot of fans are going to say, what is he talking about? Why would he say something like that? He's not going to throw his coach and his owner under the bus. Remember, 5 weeks ago, you heard Christopher Johnson say that Adam Gase is one of the biggest and best gurus when it comes to offense in the NFL, and that they have no thoughts of moving on from him. And then all of a sudden, you see how bad they are the next couple of weeks, and they're by far the worst offensive team we've seen in a very long time in professional football, and could go down as one of the worst or the worst offense in NFL history.
It wouldn't surprise me at this rate with everything that's going on.
So now we're looking at the big picture, and then he speaks about Sam Darnold. He says that he believes Sam is also a solution, not a problem to this organization. Sam Darnold has not looked good. He really hasn't. Now, I think Sam is going to be a good quarterback and an elite quarterback in this league. I don't know if he'll be an elite, but I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. I do believe that Joe Douglas has not put the right players around him that has affected his growth as a player. I also believe when you look at Sam Darnold, he throws balls in certain areas where he thinks the players are going to get to, and these guys aren't top-notch players. The Braxton Berrios of the world,
Vincent Smith,
all these guys that you never even heard of. Okay, besides Denzel Mims, who only saw 3 targets last week for 42 yards. This is your number one. This guy was a number one round. This is a first-round talent who fell to the second round, where you moved up and obviously gained draft picks to get him, and he fell to you, and you thought that this guy was a significant piece to the puzzle in the future. Why did he only see 3 targets?
And it didn't look like the Chiefs were game planning specifically for him either. It didn't look like they were double coverage or bracket coverage or anything like that. He was just left one-on-one a lot of the time or in zone.
So that is a huge problem when you look at what Joe Douglas had to say yesterday. Now, I do believe that Joe Douglas is not going to give you his thoughts to where this organization is going to move after this season. He's not going to tell you if he's going to fire Adam Gase or he's not. So I don't know why Jet fans are going crazy about what he said, that he thinks he's a solution. He also said that Jamal Adams was here to stay for the rest of his career. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, he decides to trade him for 2 first rounds, a third round, and Bradley McDougall. Okay, so everything that he said with that, he also said in the beginning of the season that Le'Veon Bell was a solution to the offense, not an apparent problem to the solution. Then all of a sudden, he couldn't trade him in the middle of the season before the trade deadline, and just released him so he can go wherever he wants. So that made no sense either. So Joe Douglas has lied about a lot of things that he has done so far, but that's what GMs do. That's what politics are. It's all about lies and deceitfulness, and that's professional sports too. Why would the GM of an organization that is one of the worst run organizations in all of professional sports come out in front of the worst and the biggest bunch of you-know-whats when it comes to the press and when it comes to journalism and writers? Why would he come out and tell you his ideas and his thoughts to where he sees this organization moving forward at the end of the season?
Yeah, especially with players now being a lot more stingy with their contracts. You don't want to just have them just sell them out where you're going to lose value too. And that's why Joe Douglas has done what he's done, hiding that kind of thing, because we've seen teams get less value. Look at the Lions with Darius Slay. Look at what Jacksonville with some of their players that they traded. They didn't get barely any value except for Ramsey, really. So you're looking at that kind of thing really hurting teams. So they're hoping the value stays, and obviously they couldn't get the value for Bell, but besides that, they got good value for a lot of other players.
No, CJ DeSimone, if you guys don't know him, the host of Weapons Hot, very, very good analytic guy when it comes to the New York Jets. He's very in-depth with his thoughts of the New York Jets. He came out and said, why do you think that Mims wasn't targeted in the second half? Is it Sam or the offensive coordinator? It's a little bit of both. I just don't think Sam has enough trust in Denzel Mims enough to air the ball out 7 or 8 times in a game when he's only played a full game with him probably once.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if he trusts Denzel Mims to go up for the ball, but why would he trust a guy named Smith who was a third string guy coming off a practice team for another organization? Why is he going to trust Braxton Berrios, who was just a punt returner? Right. I have no idea. why Sam trusts those guys over a guy as talented as Denzel Mims.
And again, we might as well try. You got to take everything like the preseason at this point and just experiment, even if the Chiefs are doing things in double coverage and stuff like that, or putting your best guy on him. That's what Mims is meant to be, a number one receiver. Let him grow like that.
And again, Denzel Mims wasn't the problem on Sunday. It was a little bit of a lot of things. And Joe Douglas speaking for a half an hour doesn't give us enough information on where we see this team moving forward. Now, there are people saying the Jets are so bad, they're going to be bad for the next 3 or 4 years. If anybody knows anything about football, with the New York Jets having the money that they have going into the offseason, some of the players that are going to be available when it comes to offense, there's some offensive linemen that are going to be available. There's going to be some offensive talent that's going to be available, wide receivers that are going to be available that weren't available last year in free agency. The Jets can have a very, very good offseason and could be statistically a team that could be 8-8 or 9-7 next year by just making a few moves. And you say, what kind of few moves? Well, they need to add some corner help. They need to add some offensive line help. They need to add pass rushing help. That's a huge problem. But they have 9 draft picks that are going to be drafted, this year in the top 5 rounds. So you have a significant draft stock where you can rebuild one of the youngest teams in the NFL, one of the more athletic teams in the NFL, and you have the opportunity, if he comes out in the first round as the number 1 pick, to add arguably a guy that can change your organization for good. And that's Trevor Lawrence, a guy that can change your offense with the blink of an eye. You're adding a guy that some people think could be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL for the next 20 years. And you have the opportunity to draft him as your number 1 pick. Now, Joe Douglas also said, why would he be looking for a quarterback when he has a quarterback? Well, of course he's going to say that, right. But everybody knows that Sam Darnold wasn't his pick. Sam Darnold wasn't his guy. Mm-hmm. And when you bring in a new GM, more than likely, the GM is going to bring in his own coach, and he's going to bring in his own quarterback.
Right. And look at what draft analysts and coaches and other stuff people have said the last 3 years. They bluff on the quarterback position all the time. The Browns said they were going to take Deshaun Watson, then they traded the pick to the Texans. The Cardinals said they were keeping...
Big mistake, by the way.
The Cardinals said they were keeping Josh Rosen, and Cliff Kingsbury's going to roll with it. Then they draft Kyler Murray. Last year, the Dolphins said, we don't really like Tua anymore. They still draft him anyway. So there's case of all that. So definitely don't believe any of that with anything, because GMs are just trying to be deceiving.
CJ, let me tell you something. If you really think that the Jets aren't going to fire Adam Gase at the end of the season, you guys are out of your minds. Okay? I don't care what any analyst says or somebody says they have a connection with the New York Jets. And listen to what Joe Douglas said yesterday. If you actually think that Joe Douglas thinks that Adam Gase is a solution and not a problem, then Joe Douglas should be fired with Adam Gase at the end of the season. I guarantee you, he does not believe Adam Gase is a solution. Okay? Now, I know him and Adam Gase are good friends. I do. I know they're very good friends. He was the reason why he got this job. But he's also the reason why he took a 6-year deal and not a 4-year deal. Because I believe that Joe Douglas knew that Adam Gase wasn't the guy for the job. He wasn't the guy for the future to this organization and this team. But I do believe that Joe Douglas needs to open up his eyes and stop talking to the press. If you have nothing good to say to the press or something that they could think positive about the press conference that you have, then you shouldn't be talking to the press, because what you're doing is you're throwing meat to the dog. You're throwing meat to the wolves.
To the already harsh New York media.
And they love the fact that you're going to come out and say, well, Adam Gase is a solution, and Sam Darnold's a solution, when you have arguably one of the best quarterbacks to come out of a draft since Andrew Luck, and Andrew Luck was drafted 9 years ago, okay? And then you're talking about all the quarterbacks. You're talking about some of the great quarterbacks, some of the great young quarterbacks. He's better. Some people think he's better and more talented than every one of those guys. So why would you go and talk to the press? You should have waited to the end of the season until you decided what you were going to do with Adam Gase. And I do believe he's going to fire Adam Gase. If he doesn't fire Adam Gase, I can't sincerely sit here and watch the New York Jets next year, because they're going to be really, really bad.
Even with Lawrence.
And I don't know if Trevor Lawrence will come into the draft,
not, right.
if Adam Gase still has a position there. And that would really piss off the Jet fans, because then you're going with your pal. you're deciding to go with a guy that has not been successful, that has an 0-16 season, which one of the worst offensive seasons in NFL history. And don't give me the crap that you didn't give him a supporting cast. You gave him an offensive line that we thought was going to be decent, okay? Decent. And no, he didn't have offensive weapons, but it doesn't make any sense how you can keep a guy that you think is an offensive guru when last year they were ranked 31 in offense, and this year they're dead last in every statistic in the game.
And who said last year when they went on that run at the end of the season that a lot of teams didn't play down to them either? The teams do that all the time.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And anybody that can sit here and say that the New York Jets is going to believe and say that Sam Darnold and Adam Gase is the solution of this team moving forward, you're crazy. Now, Sam Darnold still has an opportunity to win this job and keep his job. How? Trevor Lawrence decides he doesn't come out of the draft. I think they will prefer to keep Sam Darnold than go after Justin Fields. I do believe that. I could see the Jets trading out of the pick and maybe drafting the offensive lineman or a wide receiver, or maybe getting a multiple stock of first-round draft picks for the future, where if Trevor Lawrence doesn't come out. But if Trevor Lawrence comes out and he's sitting there at number one, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to pass up on him. I don't care what Joe Douglas says. I don't care what Adam Gase says. I don't care what any of them says. And I don't want to hear Joe Douglas is going to decide at the end of the season, well, we're going to keep Adam on, and then after he drafts the players that he wants, he's going to fire him. Because it made no sense with Mike McCagnon and Christopher Johnson letting Mike McCagnon draft the players that he did a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and then fire him after the draft. It made no sense. So, I mean, some of the things that the Jets do makes no sense.
Yeah,
but
the one thing you always want in a franchise, no matter how you're rebuilding or what approach you're taking, is the continuity. You want to have some level of coaching stability, GM stability, offensive line, like you were saying. There's a lot of new players, and that's a lot of these bad organizations. That's what they haven't had. You look at the Browns. Even though I don't think Baker's a great quarterback, he's had his third coach already, and a lot of offensive line combinations. Now, granted, they got him offensive skill players, not like the Jets, but you look at that kind of thing. Continuity is key for any team, any sport, really.
And especially football.
Right, especially football, where there's so many different types of complicated schemes. There's all these college-type offenses now.
How many players come in and come out to teams and organizations every single year? You see this player, he's there for a year, and then he's gone and he's playing for another team. How many teams has Ryan Fitzpatrick played for?
I think 12.
I mean, it's ridiculous. There are players that are journeymen, and they're not superstar players. How many superstars do you have on your team? How many teams have more than 7 superstars on their team? The answer is none. None. Most good teams have 6 or 5 elite players, and the rest are good players. If you're a championship team, there are a lot of good players, and then there are okay players on certain aspects of their offense and their special teams and their defense.
Right.
But usually there's only 4 or 5 elite players on each team. The Jets don't have one. Really, they don't have one. So you can't say Mekhi Beckham is an elite player. He's a rookie. You can't say Denzel Mims is an elite player because we've only seen him in 2 games, and he's a rookie. I mean, C.J. Mosley's, as far as I'm concerned, he's not part of this team right now. I mean, they don't have any elite players. So you're talking about, does the Browns have, as bad as the Browns have been over the years, do they have 5 or 6 elite players? They do. They do. Go up and down. Go to the Bengals right now. Do the Bengals have 5 or 4 elite players? I think they have about 3 or 4 elite players on their team, including their quarterback, who looks really, really good.
Elite?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. As a rookie.
All right. Yeah,
as a rookie.
I get that.
I don't think he's an elite quarterback in the league.
That's fair.
But I think as a rookie, he's going to be up for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
It's been sensational. And do I think he's going to be an elite quarterback in this league? As good as he's played this year with the players that he has around him? Yes, I do. I think he's going to be elite. I do.
Yeah, the Bengals, I think you look at William Jackson at corner. I guess Dunlap before they traded him was a nice pass rusher. And then Mixon, when he's healthy, is a nice running back. And A.J. Green, when he's healthy, is a nice wide receiver. So, yeah,
I think they have some elite players. The Jets are one of very few teams that have elite players. I mean, even the Giants. Look at the Giants. Do they have elite players? Leonard Williams is becoming an elite player. Leonard Williams is a Pro Bowl player this year. He's having a great season. He's becoming an elite defensive lineman. I wouldn't be surprised if Leonard Williams doesn't make the All-Pro team. I mean, look at their defense. Look how well he's played this year. I think he's got like 5 sacks.
Yeah.
And he's been dominating behind the line of scrimmage. How many tackles does he average a game? I think he leads the team in tackles.
Tackles for loss, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's been sensational. He's been one of the most talented defensive linemen in the league this year, and that was a Jet. He was a Jet who didn't really accomplish his goals as a player with the New York Jets. He goes to the Giants, the other side, the NFC East instead of the AFC East, and look at the difference he is as a player. Mm-hmm. He's a better player.
And we've said this for a while. It's a lot easier as a 4-3 defensive tackle than a 3-4 end to accumulate those stats. And Williams, with being in those 3-4 defenses, that kind of held him back. Now, obviously, Todd Bowles has made other players work with it with Tampa, but again, you still need the talent to an extent too.
Another team that's alarming, and I'm not going to go to break until 7:00 because I want to go through the NFL because we're going to have our special guest and we're going to have some fun with him. But another team that really stands out to me going into week number 8 is the Baltimore Ravens, a team that a lot of people thought going into week 8 they would be undefeated. I mean, they have the talent. They added a great pass rusher a week ago where they gave up nothing for him. They really gave up nothing.
Yeah, they gave the same thing the Vikings gave to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
So you're getting a much talented player to go on the other side of your line who could get to the quarterback and cause havoc on the other side of the line, and who's probably very excited to go and play for his team. And I say his team because he grew up in Baltimore. He grew up a Baltimore Ravens fan. So the fact that they have not looked good in almost 3 weeks, and they haven't looked good, okay? In the last 3 weeks, they've lost 2 games. They've won 1 game out of 3 games.
Right.
This is a team that a lot of people thought were the favorites to come out of the AFC and probably win the Super Bowl this year.
You and I said they were the most talented team in football.
Oh, no question. And they still are.
I think they still are, too. Now, the question is, again, it's mental with them because you've seen this core with John Harbaugh so far, starting in 2017 with all these young players. Week 17 of 2017, they lose that heartbreaker against the Bengals. They miss the playoffs. 2018, they have a playoff dud against the Chargers. And then last year, obviously, we know Derrick Henry and the Titans stomped all over them. So it's a lot of it is mental with them. Can they beat those top teams? And so far, they haven't. They lost to the Steelers last week, and they lost to the Chiefs.
Well, the Steelers, they had a chance to win. Lamar Jackson made an error on his run play. They had 1 yard to gain on the 4th and 1, and Lamar Jackson went the wrong way.
He tried to be too fancy.
He should have went the left side instead of the right side. If he went the left, he would have gotten the first down, and they probably would have scored and won the game. But he rushed the play, and he was looking. And I don't blame Lamar Jackson for the loss. I mean, Lamar Jackson is not the reason why they lost the game. I think a lot of the reasons why is their defense couldn't stop their offense. And that was the problem, especially early in the game.
Yeah, that pass rush really had a lot of trouble, too. I think they had some players out, and now they lost Matt Judon. I think he came down with COVID, so he's not going to be able to play this week either. So that's probably a big reason they were trading for Ngakoue. But Ngakoue in that first game did not look great.
Did not look good. And now you're playing an Indianapolis team that's played very good football. They have the same record as you, and they're also a team that wants to win their division, a division where it's winnable for them. It's absolutely winnable for them. They can win the division, and even though Tennessee has been fantastic, Tennessee has 1 loss, and they only have 2 losses. If Tennessee loses this week, what quite possibly could happen, they could be tied with the same record.
Yeah, their defense has had a lot of issues, too, so far with the Titans. They've had trouble with the pass rushers they brought in, losing all the secondary pieces they did. They just got Adoree Jackson back last week. Malcolm Butler's been okay, but he hasn't been that number 1 corner that he was with the New England Patriots. So they really have had trouble with their defensive side of the ball, too. They're kind of like the Bears, where they've been battle-tested.
And they're playing the
far.
Bears this week.
Yeah, it's funny. They're very similar, where they've been battle-tested. They win close games, but they haven't been as overly dominant as we were expecting with their talent level either.
So Indianapolis is a team that really sticks out like a sore thumb. They really do, because as bad as Phillip Rivers looked the first 3 weeks, he's looked even better the last 2 or 3 weeks. So and now he's figuring out the offense. He understands how he can run the offense. I do believe it's a one and done year for Phillip Rivers. He either wins the Super Bowl, goes to the Super Bowl, or they're going to be looking for a young quarterback or looking to trade for a young quarterback in the offseason.
Unless Phillip Rivers has a big second half, regardless of even what he does in the playoffs, I think he'll be out either way.
I think
a lot of money too.
I think they're going to be bringing a young quarterback that might be available in free agency or maybe in trade talks. And one guy that I've been talking about is Sam Darnold, a guy that definitely sticks out for a team that is looking for a future quarterback. Still one of the youngest quarterbacks in the NFL that maybe just needs a change of scenery. And if the Jets do get the number 1 pick and Trevor Lawrence does come out of the draft, I could see the Jets making a trade to a team like Indianapolis where they can get a huge amount. I wouldn't say a huge amount, but a couple of picks back for Sam. Maybe a late first round or 2 second rounds and a third.
That'd be funny because remember the Colts were the team they traded with to trade up for Darnold.
Yep. So and that could happen. And I could see that absolutely happen. A team like the Browns, who absolutely passed up on Sam. I think Sam would have been a better fit with this Browns team than Baker Mayfield because I think of his arm and his ability to move inside and out of the pocket a lot, and the size that he has and the ability that he has, I think he would have fit better with the Browns. But a lot of people say, well, Baker's looked better than Sam. Yeah, Baker's also on a way better team.
Yeah.
Okay, and is coached by a better coach. So I don't know if Adam Gase knows. Like I've said, I'll say this over and over again. I don't know if he knows his ass from his tailbone. I really don't. I think Adam Gase is really that dumb. So
Adam Gase is entering Freddie Kitchens territory, which
stupid.
is sad.
He's an absolute stupid idiot. So there is no lies or factual thoughts to anybody that thinks Adam Gase is a good coach is an idiot. I mean, let's be honest. He's a jackass. So when you look at the Browns and you look at the talent that they have, they got a tremendous amount of talent. Myles Garrett has been the best pass rusher in the NFL this year.
Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion, this year.
He's been fantastic, but he also got a big, huge contract about 1.5 years ago. So he's living up to the contract that he's getting. But all in all, there are teams right now that stick out, and there are teams that don't stick out. And again, the Baltimore Ravens are a team that if you're a Ravens fan, you would have to be worried. I mean, moving forward, their games are going to get worse. They're going to get harder. They still have to play the Pittsburgh Steelers again. So, I mean, and they're probably going to lose out on their division. A division where a lot of people thought, including yours truly, thought they were by far the best team in the division. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been sensational. Ben Roethlisberger has been great. I mean, they're getting offense on all different sides of the ball, including their defensive side of the ball. They've been fantastic. They really have. And this might be Mike Tomlin's best coaching he's had in his career.
Easily, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. He's going on. To me, Mike Tomlin is Coach of the Year.
So far, yeah.
He right now, he's by far the Coach of the Year. I mean, there's nobody even coming close to him right now, being that they're the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Right.
So when you look at the Jets, who are 0-8, and then you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 7-0, and look who the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing this week. They're playing the Dallas Cowboys.
They're playing Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush.
They're going to go 8-0 unless some crazy thing happens. I mean, seriously, you know what's going to happen. I mean, Pittsburgh's going to run Dallas out of the,
Of course.
I don't know where they're going to run them out to. I mean, maybe to Dunkin' Donuts or something because
they'll run them out to the Mexican border.
I mean, seriously, I have no idea what's going on with the Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy, I don't care what any Cowboy fan says, I will say it again over and over again. Mike McCarthy is not going to last for 3 years. He's not. Next year is going to be even worse. Because even if they get a top pick, and a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans says, "Oh, we'll draft the best defensive player available," is that going to make them better?
Yeah, one defensive player's not all you need.
I mean,
nice
you're overpaying Jalen Smith. You're overpaying Lawrence. You're going to have to pay Van Der Esch. He's going to want big money, and if you don't, you're going to have to trade him. You're trading, and Van Der Esch, in my eyes, is your best defensive player. So, where are you going at the corner position, which has been one of the worst in the league this year? I mean, you traded Jones or you let go of Jones. He goes to Miami. Miami's defense has been sensational this year. I'm not going to give Jones all the credit.
Yeah, he's been hurt, so.
But the defense has been sensational in the front seven. But I don't know where anybody thinks that the Dallas Cowboys are a team to beat in the future. I think the Dallas Cowboys are in a lot worse trouble. And crazy to say this, is even worse than the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. Because the Jets have a lot more money than the Cowboys do in free agency, a lot more, and they have a tremendous amount of draft stock they can rebuild that team in 2 years. So, and what do the Cowboys have? Last year they had 5 draft picks because they traded them all away, and then this year, what do they got? 8? I mean, The Cowboys are in and I will say this over and over again. They got lucky to get CeeDee Lamb, but if you don't have a quarterback that can get the ball to him, what good is CeeDee Lamb? So
have fun with Eric Gilbert and Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci.
you have to go and look at some of these teams, and there's a lot of worrisome teams right now that have playoff spots. The Buffalo Bills being another team. I've said this. They haven't looked good the last 3 weeks. They've skimmed right through, and now they're playing Seattle. They're not going to skim right through with Seattle. If Seattle scores 30 points against them, I don't know if Buffalo can keep up with them. I just don't. And even though it's in Buffalo, I still think Seattle has the advantage.
Yeah, they're one of the teams, actually, the exception to the rule where when we make picks all the time, I always say the West Coast team traveling to the East Coast is the hardest thing. The Seahawks have been the one exception to that rule over the years, so I think they'll definitely make it tough. I have them winning the game, and I agree. Buffalo's going to have some kind of shootout offensively if they're going to have any shots.
And a lot of people would think the Saints are, the Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the game of the week. I beg to differ on that. At 4:25 on Sunday, Miami versus Arizona, to me, is the game of the week. I really do, because Arizona, you have two young quarterbacks, two very likable quarterbacks, two guys that can move inside and out of the pocket. I think both of them have the same style of game. Both of them throw very well on the run accurately. The one thing that I look at Arizona is I think they have the better quarterback. I do. Right. And I think they have the better all-around team than Miami. Now, that doesn't mean that Miami can't go to Arizona and beat the Arizona Cardinals. I with that defense and the way they played this past week against a Rams team that everybody thought was a championship competitive team, boy, oh boy, did they prove everybody wrong. This is a team that's quite capable of going into Arizona and knocking off the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they've played close in every game so far, too. With the exception of a couple in the beginning of the season. They hung tough with Seattle. They beat the other two NFC West teams, the Rams and the 49ers, and blew them out of the water. So it's definitely possible for them to be able to do that. The Dolphins' offense will need some kind of production, though, against that good Cardinals secondary, though, for them to win that game. But I agree with you where their defense can definitely make it tough on Kyler Murray. They have a lot of fast ends and fast linebackers that have played very well so far against mobile quarterbacks.
Speedy, have you ever, gone out and you had a lot of bad gas and you actually wanted to get into a small room just to smell your own farts to see what it smells like? Have you ever done that before?
I've done it by accident, not on
What
purpose.
You've never done that by purposely? I mean, you never wanted to smell how bad your farts were by what you ate. I mean, chili or maybe you eat a bad burger or something like that. So you've never gone into like a closet? Well,
I've never analyzed it that good.
Oh, come on, man. You never gone into a closet and lock yourself in a closet and just smell your farts? I mean,
no.
I mean, a lot of people probably think I was crazy, but sometimes, you got to whiff it, just like your
well, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Just like your sports team, if they're bad, you smell the stinkiness or watch the stinkiness, and when they're playing good, you enjoy it and you smell like berries. That's the way I look at it. Mm-hmm. It's like a dirty fart. It really.
I mean, it's a good analogy. I'll give you that.
Well, it is. I think that the New York Jets are a really bad fart. Okay, that's. That could probably blow up a whole room of people, okay? The New York Jets have done that enough to the Jet fans and their own organization.
The stench of the Jets could be a military weapon.
Well, it's a military weapon, all right. And another game that really stands out to me, and I have to give a lot of credit to Justin Herbert, okay? First of all, he has been so exciting to watch. Not only a pretty boy, blonde hair, blue eye guy that takes off his helmet, everybody thinks he's a California-like guy, but this is a guy that has been sensational. He's been unbelievable. Unfortunately, he plays for a team that likes to give up leads.
Yep.
Everyone wants to bash at the end of the game.
Everyone wants to bash the Falcons. The Chargers have done it 4 times this year and have done it for years.
To me, that is a game that really sticks out to me. I would love to see the Chargers win. I definitely believe they found the quarterback of their quarterback of the future. This is a guy that could be an MVP candidate in the next couple of years. I really think he's that good. You know who he reminds me of? Watching his game, he reminds me of Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I can see that.
He does. His game, the way he throws the ball, the way he reads, a little bit more durable, more athletic than Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford's more of a pocket-present quarterback. But Justin Herbert, he has the arm strength of a Matthew Stafford, very accurate, but also is a guy that can place the ball in places that only Matthew Stafford could put it. And I think this is his style, his look, Matthew Stafford-esque. Quiet guy like Matthew Stafford, doesn't say much.
Right.
I think he's a fun quarterback to watch. If nobody has had the chance to see Herbert, guys, you have to watch the games. He is a sensational player. He's going to be a star in this league for many, many years to come. He really is fun to watch.
And it's not nowhere near his fault that the Chargers are
losing.
That defense, for whatever reason, with all the talent that they have, just blow every lead imaginable.
A defense that I thought last year was going to be Super Bowl contending a defense, but they fell apart last year, and they look even worse this year. I could see the Chargers trading Joey Bosa away in the offseason. I could see that happening. There are teams that would give him a boatload of picks. Joey Bosa is obviously not the solution of this organization moving forward. Either is Melvin Ingram, who is a little bit moving to the older side.
Right.
A pass rusher. Teams like the Jets would probably be willing to give a third or fourth round draft pick for a Melvin Ingram to their defense. So there are teams that'll be interested in some of these players and the older players. Now, Joey Bosa is not an older player. Joey Bosa is a young player, but Melvin Ingram's been in the league for 7 to 8 years. I mean, he's moving to 30.
Draft,
yeah, he's moving to 30. You know what I mean? So he might be on his way out. He wants a big contract. I don't think the Chargers are willing to give him that.
Yeah, but we sit in the Chargers get rid of players all the time.
They didn't give it to Melvin Gordon, and who was one of the better running backs in the NFL.
Right,
So, and he's played very good with the Broncos.
They have a history of being cheap. That ownership group, that front office, they always have done that with players, especially offensive players in the past as well. When they had really talented teams, and for some reason they just could never put it together. They always lose close games. They always have random duds. They always have a lot of injuries for whatever reason. Their talent has always been pretty good for the most part in their franchise history, but always seems to have the same problem.
And they're going to play the Raiders, and I think the Raiders have been a lot better than I thought they were going to be this year. I thought they had a lot of deficiencies on their defense. They still do. But their defense has played a lot better this year. They've played a lot better. They've gotten to the quarterback. They've put pressure on the quarterback. I definitely think they're a wild card team. They're absolutely a wild card team. They got to win this game. They have to knock off the Chargers, but they have an opportunity to be 5-3. And even though I don't think they can win the division, they're not winning the division because Kansas City is not going to lose that many games. I still think they could be the second place team in their division, and they can come out as one of the wild card teams.
Yeah, it's possible with the schedule that they have because their schedule is pretty easy. They've gotten a lot of hard games out of the way already. They already beat the Saints. They already played against Tampa, and they played the Chiefs once already, and they beat the Chiefs. So they already gotten a lot of those hard games out of the way. So it is possible. The question is, if they're going to get any identity, they would have needed to make some trades on defense because their run defense, which was actually a big strength for them last year, I think they were third or fourth against the run last year, it has been a weakness for them. Their pass defense has gotten a little better, but is still very questionable in that secondary too.
And Detroit, who has had a very good season. 3-4 is not a bad record for a team that really doesn't win more than 3 or 4 games. And they lose Matthew Stafford to COVID. He's on the list for the second time. He might be out for 2 weeks. And that could affect a Detroit team that, even though I think they're in a very hard division, the way the Chicago Bears have played, they could absolutely, if they win this week against Minnesota, has not played well, they can move up in that division. They could have the opportunity to be a wild card team. It's going to be a shot in the dark, but also the Green Bay Packers hasn't played well. They haven't played well the last couple of weeks. Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked good. And Green Bay could lose this week against San Francisco, even though they're making trades and they're making moves because I think they're giving up on the season too. San Francisco's 4-4, but I really think because of their division and how good their division is, and they are in the best division in football, San Francisco.
Right.
I think San Francisco is going to give up on this year's season because they lost Nick Bosa. They lost a significant amount. Look, they traded they traded one of the best linebackers to the Saints this past week. So. I understand they're trying to open up room for free agency, but all in all, I could see Sean Payton leaving after this year. I really could. Payton? Sean Payton leaving the Saints.
Oh, wow, really?
He's a free agent this year. He's a free agent. The Saints are on their way out. They're going to lose Drew Brees. Even though their defense looks good, their offense has looked bad this year. They have not looked good. Michael Thomas wants out. Okay, he doesn't want to stay there. I could absolutely see the Saints trading Michael Thomas at the end of the season because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to play for the team. And Alvin Kamara, who had got a big contract, he's a guy that they're going to, I believe they're going to build their offense around. I don't think they're going to build it around Michael Thomas, and Drew Brees is going to be gone. So either they're going to be looking for their next quarterback, Or what they're going to do is they're going to try to bring in a young quarterback in free agency or make a trade for maybe a quote-unquote Sam Darnold.
Yeah, the only way we could see Peyton, though, leaving is if they don't win. Because, again, he's hungry for that second title, too. Especially if Breeze does play out the second year of his contract. I think if he does win this year, he will retire. But if he doesn't, then they're going to be hungry and looking for more, especially if they lose in the heartbreaking ways they always seem to lose.
And I'm listening. John Ferris, I've been reading everything that you wrote. I know you like DK Metcalf, who has been sensational this year.
Yes.
A guy. Now, I don't know why Russell Wilson wants to compare him to Jerry Rice, because you can't compare a guy that's been in the league for about 2.5 years to arguably the greatest player in NFL history. And Russell Wilson needs to cool down on the way he compares players, because if he really thinks that he can compare himself to Drew Brees, he's got a long way to go. Okay, but Russell Wilson has been a sensational player. He, to me, is the MVP of the league this year, still to this day. Do I think Michael Thomas would be a good fit with the Jets? Absolutely. Do I think the Jets have enough to get Michael Thomas? Yes, they do. Yeah. They can give up a first round this coming year and maybe a fourth, and they can get Michael Thomas. Absolutely could get Michael Thomas, if they want him. I don't know if they're willing to give up a first for Michael Thomas. I still think the Jets are starting. They want to start from scratch, and if it makes Trevor Lawrence happy, they might make a move like that. Is Michael Thomas better than any of the wide receivers coming out of this year's draft? The answer is yes. Michael Thomas is one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. Mm-hmm. The question is, will he fit with the Jets? Will he fit away from Drew Brees? That's the question. We've seen wide receivers go to other places and not become successfhas. So,
especially with the Saints. Yeah.
Especially with the Jets. Antonio Holmes. You saw what he did with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wins a Super Bowl. He has the game-winning catch, and then the next year he goes to the Jets. He has a decent year and gets a lot of money. And the year after, 2 years later, he's gone. So we've seen good wide receivers go other places and don't succeed. So
a lot of teams like the Saints, like the Packers, that they have top quarterbacks all these years. A lot of their second and third receiver options, they have trouble in other places. The Saints have had a running back carousel for a while that's had issues. And the Packers, they tend to have a lot of they develop receivers well, so they tend to have a lot of different receivers, but none of them play well elsewhere. Even somebody as good as Jordy Nelson throughout his career, when he went to the Raiders, he was not the same player either.
He wasn't. But he also came back from a torn ACL. He had 2 torn ACLs.
He had one in 2015.
One with the Green Bay Packers and one with the Oakland Raiders. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy was never the same. He wasn't the same player. But once you tear your ACL, unless you're Adrian Peterson, you're never the same player.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's just the facts. Nick Bosa is not going to be the same player. I'm sorry. As big of a freak that guy is, and women love him, the guy's a pretty boy, and he's a great, fantastic player. He tore his ACL this year. I guarantee you he won't be the same player. Mm-hmm. He'll be a great player. He's just not going to be the explosive player the way we've seen him. And that's going to be a huge problem. I think the 49ers are going to have to make a lot of decisions. They had the chance to win last year. And I'll say this again. Kyle Shanahan made a lot of mistakes with the last 6-7 minutes of the game, which cost them a Super Bowl because they were in the lead. They were up by 12 points or 10 points with 7 minutes left. There's the chances of a team coming back with 2 possessions was slim to none. I mean, I think they had a 70% chance to win. Yep. And again, Kyle Shanahan with the percentages not in his favor, he loses. So, and I don't care what anybody says, he stopped running the ball. And Kansas City, say whatever you want, their running game has not been the same this year either.
Right. And also, when you look at the defense for the 49ers, too, they haven't been the same when they haven't had that full arsenal of pass rush either. And you saw that at the end of the Super Bowl, too, when their pass rush was having trouble. Their secondary's nothing, really, except for Richard Sherman. But Richard Sherman's hurt now. You have Jason Verrett and nothing else, really, in that secondary. And they're kind of cash-strapped as it is, too. Maybe that was one of the reasons they traded Kwan Alexander, but they're kind of cash-strapped as it is, too, paying a lot of overloads for one position and not really filling in the holes. And with receivers, with corners, with safeties, they need more of that.
Well, and John actually asked us what running back fits the Jets right now in free agency. That's a good question. And I could see the Browns trading Kareem Hunt. If you can get Kareem Hunt for a 5th or a 6th, I would make a move for Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt keeps playing well like he is this year. You're probably going to need more than that, though.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Kareem Hunt is a guy that has had problems on and off the field. I think you can get a 4th or you could trade a 4th or a 5th for Kareem Hunt. You're not going to get a 2nd or a 3rd for Kareem Hunt. You're not with his off the field problems.
I don't think you'll get a 2nd for sure. But if he if Chubb is out for much of the season and he dominates, I could see a third.
No, I don't see it.
I don't know if the Jets would do it, but I could see another team do it.
I don't. I can see Kareem Hunt would be a guy that could fit with the Jets. He's not a free agent. That's why you're going to have to trade for him. But you're not going to have to give up a significant amount. For a running back, a fourth round, I could see a fourth round. A Kareem Hunt, if he has a good season, you can get a fourth round for him. But you can give a fourth round. But there are other guys that I haven't seen the free agency market for running backs. But I'm sure. I think Kenyon Drake is a free agent coming this year.
Yep.
Kenyon Drake would be a good fit for the Jets moving forward. Not with Adam Gase, obviously.
Yeah, well, I don't think he wants to be with Adam Gase either. We know how that relationship went.
Yes. So there could be a lot of interesting moves going into the offseason, especially with the coaching, who they're going to bring in. Now, a lot of people have said the New York Jets should bring in a college coach because I think the way the NFL is trying to transition is in the college game. The spread offenses, the different styles of offenses that they're going, these college coaches are bringing to the NFL and that have actually grown in the NFL in certain ways. You've seen it with Andy Reid. You've seen it with you've seen it with Nagy. You've seen it with Peterson. They use the spread offense a lot in this style of game, so it has worked. And I think maybe the Jets look at maybe a coach that really stands out to them in college, a.k.a. Jim Harbaugh. I've been saying this over and over again. I mean, he hasn't really worked in the NCAA, but we've seen his offense work in the NFL very, very well with the San Francisco 49ers.
And different schemes, too.
Yeah, so I can't see why the Jets wouldn't look at Jim Harbaugh as a guy that they can obviously reach out to and say, listen, I don't know if the Jets are going to give him $11 million a year. He's making $9 million right now with Michigan. But to come back to the NFL and get paid another $1 million, I think Jim Harbaugh would be a good pick for the New York Jets to bring in. I don't know if Joe Douglas would do that, especially I don't know if he knows Jim like that. I don't know if Jim and him would work very well together because Joe Douglas is a quiet guy who doesn't really like talking to press, and Jim Harbaugh doesn't shut up. So, I mean, that could be a huge problem bringing in a coach of that magnitude who could throw the team and the organization under the bus if they start losing.
Yeah, I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan if
he
with
will,
his
if
$9
he gets
million.
$10 million.
Michigan could fire him because obviously they had another underwhelming loss again. They always have that dud against Ohio State. Like, they always lose big games. They're that kind of reputation. So I could see that kind of thing. But again, looking at Harbaugh too, the reason he left the 49ers was he had a lot of trouble with the veteran players, not as much the younger players. Obviously, being a college coach, he could work better with the younger players. And the Jets being a mostly younger team, I could see that kind of thing working. Obviously, Bieniemy's the top choice, no matter what.
How about, and I said this, how about Sean Payton? If Sean Payton becomes available, which I believe he will, I think he's going to leave the Saints. I really do. I don't see him staying with the Saints. I think he would. His contract is up this year. No, I'm not saying he's going to go to the Jets. There's the Texans. There are other teams that are going to have open positions to fill in where he can take over for the team and maybe have a voice with the organization on who he wants to bring in, who he doesn't want to bring in. Maybe the Jets will give him the opportunity.
I just thought of if that ends up happening and the Saints maybe and him go out on bad terms. Imagine him going to the Falcons and just sticking it to them.
I could see that happening, but I also think that Sean Payton wants to go somewhere else and see what he can do with another organization. And the stories that I've been reading is that Sean Payton might want out of a team that he's been with for over 10 years. So he won a Super Bowl there. He had nothing else to prove. He's trying to win another one this year. If he wins another Super Bowl this year, he stays with the Saints. If he loses this year, which quite possibly could happen, why would he want to stay there when his quarterback is going to be retiring?
Yeah, I think he'll go out with his quarterback if that's the case. It just depends on if Breeze is going to play the second
And he
year
might
or
sit
not.
out for a whole season. Sean Payton might say, you know what, I don't want to coach next year. I might want to spend some time with my kids and then decide where I want to go. Because he might do that just to get out of the Saints' contract so the fans don't hate him.
Okay.
And say, you know what, I just want to sit out for the season. I'm going to weigh my options and see what's out there the season after. That could happen. Or Sean Payton might jump the gun and say, you know what, a team like the Jets, with all the draft stock and the money that they have, and he can actually coach arguably one of the best talented quarterbacks to come out of the draft since Andrew Luck, well, maybe he won't turn on a job like that. I'm not saying the Jets, but there are quite a few teams that will be interested in Sean Payton if he becomes available in free agency.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's a top 5 coach already, and he's done a nice job this year considering all the Saints' injuries. So
Absolutely. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about some basketball conversation, and then at 7:15, we'll be talking to Florida State tight end recruit Koby Gross here on Below the Mic.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, when you hit me, I spank Speedy on the nosy. That's why I am the Manny. I'll dance around with my Annie. I'm not a rapper. I flow. I give up. I Joe. Like Douglas, I spoke to the press and scared everybody away. Yes. As you guys know, this is Below the Mic. We are live every single Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. We had some great shows on today. The hit list was great today. We had a new show play today. Great show with Austin and his Comedy Central guys. Definitely some new shows coming to our network. Very excited moving forward. So definitely going to be very, very interesting moving forward with our network. Some new advertisers we're talking to and sponsors as well. The Weekend Crunch this Saturday on 103.9, the LI News Radio Network. Me and Eric Coleman, Speedy Petey, some guests. A lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned. If you don't live in Long Island and you can't dial it up on the FM dial, you can download or you actually listen to it on the 103 app, which is WRCN out here, the old WRCN, the LI News Radio Network, the political side. A lot of crazy stuff happening in the last 24 hours with politics and Donald Trump and Biden. We're not going to get into that, but it's craziness. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app on iOS, which is WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. John Ferris says Jason Garrett. I like Jason Garrett. I just don't know if bringing in another style of coach like Adam Gase, I think a better offensive mind than Adam Gase, but you can't honestly sell that to the Jet fans after bringing in Adam Gase, bringing in another guy that was not, in my eyes, a guy that has achieved enough to give him a position where he can get the coach a quarterback of that magnitude like Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know if the Jets are going to give him that opportunity. So I would say no, that's not going to happen. But, it's really interesting with the NBA. And I've been reading some stories that now the NBA is almost approving that the NBA season will start 3 days before Christmas. And I know the NBA is trying to make some money Christmas Day, the money, the 5 games that they can have on the dial, the endorsements, the sponsors, and the advertisements, especially the money that they've lost in the last couple of years. I think the NBA is trying to win over the fan and try to steal the storyline right now in the top headlines on a lot of sports channels and sports headlines. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't. I think the way the NHL is doing it, starting January 1st in a new year, giving the players a little bit more time. You're bringing the NBA players back in like 2 or 3 months after beating their bodies up, going through that playoff run. Yes, they had 3 months off. And then there's really not going to be any practices or OTAs. They're really not going to do that because of COVID-19. And I don't know if they're going to do the bubble this year. Or are they going to start the season in their own respectable stadiums? Is that going to make sense when COVID hasn't really panned out for the NFL or the major leagues? There's been problems even in MMA. So I think this is a really, really bad idea with Adam Silver. I think Adam Silver is making a huge mistake. I have a lot of respect for Adam Silver. I think Adam Silver is the best commissioner in professional sports.
That's not saying much.
But with Black Lives Matter being put on the basketball courts in the playoffs, which I think it was, to me, it made absolutely no sense doing something like that. No professional sport did that in professional sports. and you do that as an NBA, trying to satisfy the players, the LeBron Jameses, the Chris Pauls, after what's happened over the last couple of months, that was a bad move by Adam Silver. He lost a lot of fans, lost a lot of endorsements and advertisers and sponsors, but also a lot of things with the NBA playoffs. I didn't like how it was structured. I just didn't like it. I thought it was fit for the LA Lakers to win a championship. I really do believe that. I think Adam Silver wanted to bring the NBA back because he wanted to give LeBron James an opportunity to win another championship where you can start talking and discussing a LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparison, which I don't care how many championships LeBron James wins. He's not going to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think the other thing you got to look at, too, is that the players are already doing a lot of load management stuff as it is. They're not really prioritizing as much with the regular season because the NBA just simply doesn't have enough parity. Now, it got a little closer with teams definitely playing better than they expected, with teams like the Jazz and the Thunder, teams like that played better than expected. And in the East, you got Miami obviously going all the way to the finals, where we knew they'd be a playoff team. We didn't think they'd be that good of a playoff team where they'd be in the finals right away. So that's why I'm surprised that the players aren't really pushing more for maybe a half of a season where they could start it a little later and then reset the next year after that. Because you're right, there's going to be a lot of games where these stars are going to sit out anyway, which is only going to hurt the viewership even more.
I'm not a reader. And guys, going off subject, I actually started reading a book, a documentary book, and I'm not going to mention it because I'm not promoting anything. A very interesting story about a guy with all the trials and tribulations, the drug addictions that he's had. He was a professional athlete who fell into bad times, eventually lost everything, and then slowly but surely became a spokesman, a speaker, and is trying to regulate and figure out what his life is all about. It's interesting when you look at life and you look at some of the things that are going on in the world, and people don't realize the good spots and appreciation of where they are in their life or how their life has structured, where they're just in a better situation than a lot of the other people that you can look at in different countries, in Haiti, and people getting their heads cut off in different towns because they just look different or they act different or they just want to get rid of, they just want to punish somebody or punish a family. There are a lot of things going on in the world. So sports kind of keeps you away from the thoughts of what the bad things that are going on in the world, even what's going on right now in our country. Sports takes you away from that. And I think that, there's a lot of things in Speedy's life that takes me away from the sports conversations, and he knows who I'm talking about. She's a wonderful woman.
No.
Yeah, she is.
That is not being
She's
mentioned.
a wonderful woman. She really is. She's a good woman. She smells a little funky.
You've never smelled her.
How do you know I've never smelled her?
Because you've met her once.
I met her once in your eyes, but I've met her a couple of times in my eyes. I mean, I even dreamt about her a couple of times.
And you could smell in your dreams?
Oh, I could smell anything. I smell the whiff of my fart, man. You smell it?
That's not a dream.
Well, that could be a dream because you've never smelt the whiff of my fart. I mean, I've farted in front of you, but it hasn't smelled.
Yeah.
So
actually, it's still pretty insane.
Well, it's not pretty insane. It's just the greatness of me. I mean, I have a lot of great powers. I mean, have you ever seen what's that movie with Pee Wee Herman? There were superheroes. Ben Stiller's in it. I forget what.
Oh, Mystery Men. I saw part of that. I didn't.
Yes,
see the whole
Mystery
thing.
Men. I mean, I have that fart ability. I don't know if it smells that bad, but it definitely has that power, that pressure that can blow up the seat. Anyways, getting back into the NBA, there's a lot of conversations with possibly moving on from James Harden with the Houston Rockets. Mm-hmm. Some people say that the Houston Rockets would rather keep Russell Westbrook moving forward and moving because you can get more for James Harden than you will for Russell. I do believe that's true, too. I think James Harden's a more complete player than Russell Westbrook is, offensively especially, if you're looking for that offensive style of game. A guy that can get to the hole, get to the basket, draw fouls, cause havoc in certain ways, and can shoot the three. There are a lot of teams looking for a player like that. So I could see Miami. Don't count out the Miami Heat adding another superstar to that team, a already very good, young, talented team where you could be a championship competitive team again next year with the players that they have and the draft stock that they have moving forward.
Yeah, and I think, again, you saw what happened with Jimmy Butler, too. He really got an extra spark when he came to Miami with whatever the coaching staff and Pat Riley was doing.
Well, the
with
whiff
them.
of you, Speedy. I mean,
I'm sure the Miami Heat players could not smell me.
Well, they all have your tidy whities. Everybody on that team, all 14 players that make the team, have the opportunity to smell your dirty underwear. So I think that would absolutely.
You're supposed to do that during the interview, not before.
No, but I'm being serious. I think I actually sent Jimmy Butler during the playoffs one of your tidy whitey underwear.
And
your Scooby-Doo.
Jimmy Butler probably went, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Well, you signed it. I actually had you sign it. You didn't realize that you signed it. Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
You actually signed it. Yes,
No,
you did.
you did not.
Yes, you did. I made it look like a T-shirt, and I sent it in as underwear. Don't lie, Speedy. You did. You did. Listen, Speedy, it's okay to wear tidy whities, okay? I like your SpongeBob tidy whities. Your Scooby-Doo ones were very interesting.
You have never been to my grandparents' house except for
didn't have
once.
to. I've seen,
and it's never been when I was sleeping. So I was never.
Oh, so you're telling me I would pull your pants down and look at your underwear?
No, I'm saying I would have never autographed anything of that sort without being unconscious or just completely messed up.
Well, you've been messed up before, and I've seen you drunk before.
Yes, at your birthday.
Oh,
and,
I see you buzzed
all right,
before that.
Yeah, okay, but not drunk enough where I would do anything of the sort where I would make you be able to manipulate my penmanship.
You do a lot of stupid things, Speedy, even when you're not drunk. I mean, there are a lot of dumb, dopey things you do, especially on this show.
But never anything of that magnitude.
Well, the smell and the stench of your underwear, I think it can absolutely push the players to do the things that they need to do on the
doesn't mean I would autograph anything of
well,
the
you
sort.
did. You autographed John
I did
Wayne.
not.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I know I did not.
Anyways, there are a lot of players. Giannis is a guy that's going to definitely be looking elsewhere besides the Milwaukee Bucks. I could see the Milwaukee Bucks giving him his extension, give him his contract if they promise to trade him. The Golden State Warriors definitely fit the. Could you imagine Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Giannis, and possibly Andrew Wiggins? Yeah, I think you would have to trade Andrew Wiggins. What's his name again? Draymond Green and a first-round draft pick. That first-round draft pick to get Giannis.
Okay.
I think that would fit. Mm-hmm. And then you have Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Giannis. I think that would work.
That'd be scary.
But I still think you're still giving up a significant amount back.
Well, of course, you lose a little depth, but we've seen the Warriors replenish depth in the past and be okay.
Well, we'll see. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our special guest. We are going to be talking to my Florida Seminoles. Yes, I said my because I am a Florida Seminoles fan. I grew up a Florida Seminoles fan. The person that reached out to me, Jillian, told me, I've got a surprise for you. I'm going to have a Seminole on the show, and I was very excited about that. We're going to be talking to 3-star tight end Koby Gross here on Below the Mic.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ho! Little JC, New York, Strong Island, Long Island, New York. Do you hear me? How about all you fans out there around the country? Listen to our shows throughout the country, live, every single week. I'm here, Mr. Jelly Bean Man, Mr. Candy Man, Mr. Errol Marks, and Speedy Petey. Yes, the smelly, the tighty-whitey man himself, Speedy Petey.
And still, I'm more the jelly bean enthusiast. Yeah, you're the one calling yourself a jelly bean man.
I'm the Candy Man.
You are a Candy Man, I will admit that.
I am the Candy Man. As you guys know, this is Below the Mic. We are live every single Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. You can call us at 631-965-4990. Download our app on iOS, which is Apple, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Search it, baby. Search them. And go to our website, our beautiful brand new website. Guys, you're going to love it. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Well. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we get a recruit that is worth talking to. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I love all the recruits that we've interviewed, some of the top 100 recruits in the country for 2021 and 2022. But Jillian reached out to me the other day, and she said, I got one. And I said, what did you get? And she says, I got you a Seminole. And I was wondering what Seminole, and I was doing some research, and she says, I think you're going to like this kid. So anybody that plays for my Florida Seminoles, I like. Okay, so as you guys know, we are now talking to Florida State tight end recruit Koby Gross. What's going on, Kobe?
What's going on?
Man, oh man, I see that you're in your bedroom or you're in your living room.
I'm in my bedroom.
Oh, there you go. Are you in Florida right now?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa. I moved here like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how do you like Florida? Where are you from?
I'm from California.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What part of California?
I'm from the Bay Area.
Oh, Golden State Warrior fan, aren't you?
No.
Oh, well, who are you root for?
I don't have a favorite basketball team, but if I were to pick, probably be the Lakers.
Really? You're a Laker fan. Okay. Football fan, you're a San Francisco 49ers fan?
No.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay, who?
It's the Raiders.
Oh, the
Raider
Vegas
Nation.
Raiders. All right.
They should have never moved. I feel bad for your city, your fans. Oh my god.
Yeah, my mom was mad about that. So.
Oh my god.
You want to know something? They moved to a bigger and a beautiful city where you'll have the opportunity to play for them in the future. So there you go.
They deserve to lose their fans, though. Their fans didn't deserve.
I'm just trying to help the situation here. But Florida is an interesting city. I'm not a big Florida fan. I would probably choose California more than Florida. I'm not a big fan of Florida. Tampa's an interesting city. Some beautiful places to hang out, but obviously with COVID-19, it's not the perfect place to be, especially with the spread over there. But as you guys know, we are talking to Florida State tight end recruit Koby Gross. So, Kobe, where did you get your name, first of all? How did you get your name?
My mom and my dad, they named me after Kobe Bryant.
I knew it.
But with a Y instead of an E, because everyone has it with the E, and I've never met anyone that has my name with a Y.
I have, actually.
There was one. I think he played for Cincinnati. Yes. Cincinnati a couple of years ago. I think he was a linebacker that had that first name. It's funny because that same year, Ohio State also had an offensive lineman named Michael Jordan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now plays for the Bengals.
And as everybody knows, I'm not the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, but I do believe he's a top 20 player of all time. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy. I don't put him in my top 10, but unfortunately, may he rest in peace. Kobe Bryant is a good Samaritan, a guy that really put basketball in position to move forward after Michael Jordan. He was a big part of the growth of the game and where the league is today. So may he rest in peace. So why the Seminoles? I mean, there were a few teams. I read a little bit about you. There were a couple of teams that were investigating and recruiting you. What made you decide to go to the Florida Seminoles?
Well, first of all, that's Florida State, so everyone knows about Florida State. And I always wanted to play in Florida, so that was a big reason. And just my relationship with Coach Norvell and the tight ends coach, Coach Thompson, really made my decision easy, because just seeing the offense that they were running at Memphis was really for the tight end, and just going over film with the offensive coordinator also, it was just perfect. It was just the place that I wanted to be at was Florida State, and like I said in the beginning, my relationship with Norvell and Coach Thompson, so that really just sealed the deal, and it was in Florida where I wanted to play at.
Yeah, so referring with Norvell, he's actually done a nice job with Memphis with quarterbacks. We see Paxton Lynch, Riley Ferguson, and now Brady White, who's one of the better quarterbacks in the nation as well. And Florida State, since DeAndre Francois got hurt really in that 2017 season, they've had trouble finding quarterbacks. Do you think Norvell could really help with that? And also, what was your favorite parts of some of the offensive schemes that he's run as well in terms of you picking Florida State?
Okay, so first, the quarterback, I think the commit that we have, Luke, he's a really good guy for the job. I think he can get it done. I know he thinks that also. And with the other question, just how the tight end is used, just so versatile. And as you can see in my film, I'm lined up all over the place, and that's exactly what they want me to do at Florida State, just line up all over the offense in the slot with my hand in the ground and in the backfield. So I could do that pretty well. So that's what they want to use me as, is just as versatile as possible, me not coming off the field.
We are talking to Florida State tight end recruit Koby Gross. Now, Koby, you're 6'3", 235 pounds. For a tight end, you're a little bit on the small side. So maybe that's why they rated you as a three-star. But I read a little bit about you have good hands, you're a good blocker, you're very strong at the line of scrimmage, have an unbelievable depth with jumping and using your ability to get to the ball. What stands out to your game that you can say that you compare and contrast to another NFL player? Is there a particular style of your game that really stands out from a George Kittle or a Travis Kelce? Is there something, a part of your game that people could really stand out and watch when they get the chance to see you play?
I wouldn't say Travis or George. I would say Delaney Walker. That's who I really model my game after, is Delaney Walker, because he's like a shorter tight end, faster, and he was lining up all over the field, and that's really what they want me to do. So that's who I model my game after. I know he's not in the NFL anymore, but if you go back
we know who Delaney Walker is.
Watch his film, is similar to mine. Just line up all over the place and just a fast, shorter tight end. So that's how I try to model my game after.
4 years ago, Delaney Walker was one of the top tight ends in the league. I mean, I would say top three.
Since 2013, probably 2013 to 2017, he was easily one of the best for Tennessee.
So I like Delaney Walker. And very nice guy. I actually interviewed Delaney Walker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you were mentioning him, obviously, and I actually saw something online where you actually are one of the tight ends, one of the few young tight ends that really love to block. Like, a lot of times they love to make the tough catches. They love how fast they are, make these big plays. But you're one that loves to block. I mean, how do you think that really has helped you grow and maybe grow to the next level, both in college football where the tight ends aren't always utilized? You mentioned Norvell does, but they're not always utilized. And in the NFL level where we're seeing more spread offenses.
Mm-hmm. Well, with me blocking, I mean, that's like in high school. I did really everything, and blocking was just I was always with the O-line, and then when we would go to I would switch with the O-line and individual, then would go with the receivers. But really, the O-line coaches that I had in the past, they really emphasized blocking, because they said that the catching part, that's already in me. I don't really need to work on that as much. Hold on, this light. But the blocking, they wanted me to work on that the most. And that's where it got me to being an aggressive blocker and just not really being afraid of going against someone that's bigger than me, like the big DNs that I'm going to be going against. But so that's really, I'm just appreciative of my offensive line coaches for making me the blocker that I am. Because when I first started playing football, I didn't want to block at all. And they saw that in me. So they really took me under their wing, I guess, and just made me a good blocker, because the receiving part just took care of itself.
Okay, so everybody knows that I am a Florida State Seminoles fan. Everybody and their mother knows. I don't like to brag about it anymore because this team has stunk for the last, 10 years. In the 90s, this was one of the best football schools to play for in the country. You're talking about the U, Florida State, and maybe Alabama. Those were the three teams that really stood out in college football for 15 years. And then it kind of fell off, and then Jimbo Fisher, he took over, and then he won a national title. And then he decides to flee away from the Florida Seminoles after Jameis Winston declared himself into the NFL and ran off with some, I guess you could say, crab legs. Okay, so we all know the story about Jameis Winston. When you look at the game and really college football and Florida State, I understand you wanted to play in Florida. It's interesting to me why you didn't choose to go and play for the Florida Gators or one of the teams that have been successful for the last 10 years. When you look at the Florida State Seminoles, and I know you said that you like the coach, you like the tight end coach, is there a particular thing that really stood out to you? Now, obviously, you went over there. I don't know if you went to visit the school with the whole COVID-19 and really the recruiting situation. You probably didn't get to really meet the coaches because you've been doing all the Zoom conversations and obviously doing the whole recruiting that way. What really stands out to you about the school? What really stands out to you really about the coach? You talk about the coach and how great he is, and what makes him so great, being that he took over for Fisher and really moving forward, what makes him what makes you think that he is going to take this team to higher heights, something that the Florida State Seminoles have not been doing or haven't done in almost 8 years?
Well, I think I have a lot of, I believe in Coach Norvell because he really emphasized the little things, all about the little things, things that people say that don't matter, but everything matters. And just to see what he did with Memphis, he brought them, I don't know what their record was before he was there, but I just know that when he got there, they were decent. And then when he left, they were good. And then now look at them. They're good. And that's his team that he built. And I think he could do the same thing at Florida State. And just hearing him talk and how, he really cares about his players and the game and the school. Because he said that when he first got there, he knows what Florida State has been and he wants to bring them back to the top, which I believe that is very possible with who he's bringing in and what he emphasizes, which is 1% every single day.
So Koby, are you telling me that the Seminoles will be a national championship team in the next 3 years?
Yeah, I am.
Really?
I'm telling you that right now.
Well, let me tell you something. If the Seminoles are going to play for a national title, I will absolutely buy a ticket to the national title game, and I will make sure that I go down there. Well, I'm not even going to buy a ticket. I'll get credentials, and I'll go down to the field, and I want to experience the championship. I have never experienced a national title with watching my Seminoles live and in color win a championship, okay? And I say my Seminoles because there are not many Florida Seminole fans around anymore, okay? They're just not around here, okay? So I've always been a Florida Seminoles fan. Even how bad they've played, I root them on every single year, even though I think last year what did they win? 6 games?
I don't think even that. I think they won 4 or 5. They didn't even make a bowl game.
Yeah, so I want to see the Seminoles. I want to see them become a championship competitive team again. I think that you're a young kid. I love the type of person that you are, the confident kid that you are. Like I said, I read a little bit about you, and I think you're very interesting, very distinct from all the different tight ends that we've interviewed. I mean, we've talked to tight ends that were 6'7", 6'8", and being that you're 4 inches smaller, but reading what they're saying about your athletic ability, the athletic ability that you have, not only as a blocker, they're comparing your skills to Rob Gronkowski. So, I mean, I read some things about you. So what do you say about that? I mean, you look at the tight ends, like you said, you look at yourself as Delaney Walker style of, if you're going to try to compare and contrast your skills to, what makes the game different in your eyes, and what makes you different from all the other recruits that are 5-star, 4-star recruits?
Well, how I think of the stars, some people that are 5 stars should not be 5 stars. Some people that are 4 stars should not be 4 stars. And there are some people that aren't even ranked that, in my eyes, should be 4 stars and 5 stars. So I don't really get caught up in that because that stuff all goes away as soon as when you hit college. So you see 5 stars end up not playing, and then you see walk-ons end up starting, and then but I'm a 5-star, I should be. But when you get to that stage, it's can you play? I think some people just get lucky with the stars really that earn them. But some of the 5 stars are really about it, and some of the 4 stars are really about it, but not all of them are. And there's some kids that aren't ranked that are about that action. So that's what I think about the rankings. I don't get caught up into it so much. So, and people were saying about me when I committed to Florida State, oh, he's only a 3-star, oh, this and that. So I don't really care about the rankings.
We need to smack them around. That's what we need to do. I mean, anybody on my Florida Seminoles team, they pick on my Seminoles, I'll put my foot in your know what. Okay, I can't stand people. I know the Seminoles have not been a very good college program for the last couple of years, but I hope adding a little Koby, a little salt and pepper, we can finally win another national title, something that we haven't seen since the Jameis Winston era, which is an era of stealing and seafood. So, let's stay away from that, okay, Koby? Don't go into a store and steal any seafood legs or seafood bisque or lobster or whatever. If you don't do that, we're moving in a good situation, okay? Can we do that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
All right. one ACC opponent you are most looking forward to facing, and one team all throughout college football you are most looking forward to facing, and why?
One ACC opponent. I want to beat all of them, but the main one is it's between Miami and Clemson, but probably Miami because I don't like them.
Yeah,
so.
tell them. We want to whip the hell out of the U.
Yeah,
I can't stand them.
So, yeah, probably Miami. And then the biggest opponent that I want to face, I want to play Bama in the national championship and beat them.
I'm loving you already, man.
That's what I really
Me
want.
and you are going to be best friends forever.
I want to play Nick Saban and beat him and then go shake his hand after.
No, you don't want to shake his hand. You want to spit at his hand. That's what you want to do. That's right, Saban. That's right. That's right. You should be coaching these Seminoles. That's right. That's right. Alabama who? Alabama this. And just, show him your tighty whities. I'm just kidding. Speedy's got tighty whities.
No, I don't. Don't listen to him, Koby.
Speedy, well, I'll tell you this, Koby. I don't know how many interviews you've had in your lifetime, but I made sure that Jillian informed to you that this interview is not what you call a normal interview. I like to have fun with you guys. One thing is bringing out your personalities is something that a lot of people want to get to know, because even though, in the future you could be NFL draft picks or the next superstar that comes out of college football and becomes a superstar in the NFL that you're going to get a chance to play with the Tom Brady's, the Drew Breeses of the world, or whoever, the Russell Wilsons, you have to stay humble. So to me, I love doing this with you guys because it kind of brings out your personalities. So are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you 3 questions, crazy questions that only you can answer. And then we're going to give you the opportunity to ask us 3 silly questions as well. And we might ask you to do maybe Cupid Shuffle or something like that. But it's all in good fun. We want the fans to enjoy a little bit of time. And maybe you get to see Speedy do his little shuffle, What do you think, Speedy? You want to show?
I'll show him. I'll do a little shuffle.
You show a shuffle? You really? I don't want you to scare the fans away, okay? Because there's some
that's
things,
your call.
I mean, do you like waffles, Speedy?
Yes, I like waffles.
Okay, you like syrup?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I got to ask. Okay. All right, here we go. So here's the first question. What would you rather wear, boxers or briefs, and why?
Probably, I don't know. Probably boxers.
Don't lie. You're going to go commando. Why. You're going to go commando. That's what you rather do.
I don't know. It's more comfortable, I guess. So.
Well, I ask a lot of athletes this question. If it's not hockey players, basketball players, or baseball or football players, I ask them a silly question like that because I was an athlete too, a very top prospect as well in the sport of hockey. And I always liked to, when boxer briefs came out with Hanes, I always got them because I like to make sure my children over there were sitting nice and tight. I didn't like them bouncing back and forth against my leg. So that's something that you have to worry about as an athlete. And when I played, I'm a little bit older than you. Our jock straps were not like formed as underwear where the cups go in. Our jock straps, you practically didn't even wear underwear into those things because they would move and itch you and do all those things tight between your legs. Right, Speedy?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Koby, I'm serious, man. Koby for 3. Second question. Second question. Your favorite snack to eat before a game and why?
Oh, favorite? Probably, since I'm from the Bay and he started this, is Skittles. Marshawn Lynch. That's what put me on that.
You're a Skittles fan, huh?
Yeah, so Skittles like 30 minutes before kickoff.
Skittles fan.
Favorite flavor in the original pack and favorite flavor in any of the other packs.
I didn't even know there was that many flavors. What I really do, I just open the thing and I just put them all in. So
I do the same thing. I do the same
thing. I don't eat them one by one.
Mm-hmm. Look at him. He's a big man. He's 235 pounds, Speedy. This is a 17, 18-year-old kid. He's got to eat his Skittles.
I'm not doubting his ability for that. I'm just judging.
He's got to eat his Skittles, man. I could do that too, by the way.
No, I believe
in one gulp,
I believe it.
In one gulp, You could do a lot of things in other gulps, right, Speedy?
I have multiple gulps.
Exactly, Speedy. I'm just asking.
The only place I'll be able to get multiple gulps from is 7-Eleven.
Koby, you see what I deal with every single day?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's out of his mind. Anyways, last question. I've been to Florida. I've been to Florida State. I actually been on the campus. I experienced walking on the campus. You're going to ask me why. I just wanted to experience walking on the campus. But I had the chance to do that. It's a beautiful school, and it has a lot of beautiful women, okay? A lot of beautiful women. I mean, your eyes just pop when you walk through, just going into like the what do they call it, the big square when you walk in, where all the different buildings are and stuff like that. The beautiful women that you see. So my question to ask you here, are you single?
I guess so.
Oh, what does that mean? I got to hear this. What does I guess so mean?
I mean, it's I guess so. I don't know how to explain it.
Did you have a girlfriend?
I did, but that's gone. That's long over.
Long over. So you have somebody you're talking to right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it. So it's a little complicated. Let's say it's
just a little bit.
All right, it's a little complicated. All right, you're in Florida. You have the opportunity to wiggle and jiggle it. So we're just trying to help you here. So my question to you is, blondes or brunettes, and why?
I can't. I don't really have a preference like that.
Oh, you just like them all, huh? You like them all different shapes and sizes, huh?
So, I don't have a preference when it comes to that.
No?
It really, I mean, it's both, like, both of them are perfect, so it's like, I don't know.
No. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you like the curvy women or you like the skinny rail woman?
It just depends. That all depends.
Oh, my God, man. I'm trying to help you here. I mean, I like the curvy women. I like the women with the thin waist, the big behind. I like looking at that, I like something to grab, Speedy, how about you? You like to grab something?
Not anything of that sort.
Well, so what do you like to grab? Guys, what do you like to grab?
Oh, my God.
I'm just asking you. I mean,
we're not going here now.
You wear tidy whities, right?
No, I don't.
Well,
Kobe, do not listen to him.
Kobe, you have to listen to me. I mean, I'm a 30-year-old man who actually knows what he's talking about, okay? I definitely do. All right.
In some instances, that's not one of them.
What do you mean? So I don't know women?
No, not women. Me wearing tidy whities.
Well, you do wear tidy whities. You just don't want to admit it to the fans around the country. Kobe knows. Kobe doesn't even know you. I bet you Kobe doesn't wear tidy whities. Come on.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I mean,
good answer.
He's saying no, so I'm going to go with what he's saying.
Good answer.
Well, he knows. He just doesn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, he doesn't know, so he doesn't know.
Want to hurt your feelings. Look at him. He's a Florida State guy. I mean, he's got nice hair. I mean, he's big. He's strong. He's muscular, and he doesn't have to look at you every day.
You know, he looks like a little bit like a younger Cam Newton when he came out in the NFL.
You do look a little bit like Cam. A little bigger than Cam Newton. He's, width-wise. I mean,
yeah, sure. But.
Yeah, Cam Newton. Yeah, he's a physical specimen, but he's not as big and bulky as you are. How much do you bench, man?
325.
All right, man. I think I've maxed out in my working out career at 365. I mean, I love to work out too. I don't do that anymore. I think I can bench 325 again. I think if I actually went on the bench, I could do it 1 or 2 times. I could do it. How many reps? How many reps?
With 325?
Yeah.
1.5.
All right. That's good.
But my 225 is up there. It's at 19.
That's good. You need to get it to 25. Especially
that's my goal. I want to hit 30.
All right.
So.
Yeah. Combine, most of the tight ends, I think George Kittle's, I think he benched 25, 26 times. George Kittle. Mostly Travis Kelce did it about 26, 27 times. So you need to get it around that 25 mark, especially to show your strength and the ability. And you can, man. I'm actually a personal trainer. I can help you with that if you really want. I could give you some good advice when it comes to that. I'm being serious, dead serious.
I believe
I can help you. I can help you out on that one. But so that's good. 225 19 times. That's pretty good. I don't think I'll do it more than 12 or 13 times now. With my both tears and my rotator cuff, I'm getting old, man. I mean, I'm not a Florida Seminole. Okay, I'm not even close. When you were born, I was 18. Okay, so there's a big difference over there from me to you, especially the time of the Seminoles that I was actually rooting them on. They were actually good. I'm not making fun of you, so don't worry about it. I believe the Seminoles are going to be good. You know why I believe the Seminoles are going to be good? Because every single year on my show, I say the Seminoles are going to get to a ball game. The Seminoles are going to get to a ball game. And every single year for the last 5 years, you've given me my bad doubts. But now that we have Koby Gross, I am excited for the season of 2021. So now you can ask us questions that you have for us.
Since you guys are in New York, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your guys' favorite food over there?
Oh, man. We got a lot of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of good food here. My favorite food, just of any food, is buffalo wings. I've always been a wing enthusiast myself.
You know,
he's not a spicy food fan. I am.
Listen, I don't like the smell of him after he eats those spicy wings. I mean, dirty smell, really bad. But I like wings. I like barbecue wings. What is my favorite food to eat here in New York? There's so many good food. I would say the pizza, the Italian food. Yeah. I'm a Penny alla vodka fan. If you ever come over here, if you ever get drafted by one of these New York teams, well, let's hope you do, because they both need good tight ends, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know about the Giants. They got one.
Oh, Evan Ingram?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you on, drugs?
Kobe, I'm a Giants fan. No.
Pot hands?
No.
Are you kidding me? I mean,
hot hands and can't block. I'm sorry.
You're better than he is. I'd take you over Evan Ingram any day. I've never even actually had the opportunity to watch you play. Okay, so when I get a chance to see you play, I'll probably root you on anyways, because you're a Seminole. But I would say Penny alla vodka, Italian food. That's where I would go.
Okay.
Next question. Hit me with one. Hit me a good one.
Don't
be worried. Don't be afraid. Attack.
I'm trying to think. I didn't know I was going to do this.
I know, that's okay. That's okay.
Part of the surprise.
Let me think. What about favorite sports NFL teams?
Oh man,
I just said I'm a Giants fan.
He's a boring Giant fan. He did have the opportunity to kiss Eli Manning on the lips. So that's how he became a Giant fan.
Not true.
Yes, the Giants. They drafted Eli Manning in 2004. Speedy was a little baby, a little boy.
I was 9.
Yeah, he was a little baby, a little boy, and he had the opportunity to go to the draft. And Eli was sitting right next to him. And when he got drafted,
I never went to the draft.
When he got drafted, he kissed Eli Manning on the lips. His wife let him.
Never been to the NFL.
He's a liar. He's a liar.
I have never been to the NFL draft.
He's a liar.
I would have told you about it in 3 years that I've known you if I did.
You don't wear tighty whities, which is a lie.
You don't think I would have told you if I ever went to the NFL draft?
I don't know. Oh, my God. Kobe, this is what I deal with. I'm a Jet fan. Unfortunately, I've been rooting on a team that's been really, really bad for the last 50 years. There's really nothing more to say. We're the worst team in the NFL. We have the worst offense in the NFL. We have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and we have arguably the worst coach in NFL history. So there you go. I mean, how much more do you want to know about me, especially with the New York Jets? The only team.
I have a question for. How'd you feel when Jamal Adams was gone?
I was happy.
For it, why?
I have never been a Jamal Adams fan. I was only a Jamal Adams fan when he was drafted. When he opened his mouth, he didn't know when to shut it. And as good as Jamal Adams was for the New York Jets, and he was good for one full year. He was an all-pro player. He deserved it. He thinks more highly of himself than he really should. He had 6 sacks. He had 6 sacks last year. And all 6 sacks came from teams that didn't even make the playoffs, teams that were under 500 by at least 3 or 4 games. Jamal Adams is one of the most overrated defensive players in the NFL. He is not a $90 million guy. I was actually excited when the Jets, when I heard the Jets got 2 first rounds, a 3rd round, and Bradley McDougall for him, because to me, that was an absolute steal when you can get 2 first-round draft picks for a safety. So my answer to you, I was very excited. A lot of Jet fans were probably pulling their hairs out and probably jumping off a building. I was actually excited. So there you go.
Okay, all right. I thought that was going to be the total opposite.
Well, I know a lot of people look at me and they're like, oh, Jamal Adams, I know you loved him. I never liked Jamal Adams. I don't like cocky guys. I really don't. I like guys that are humble, that are going to go out there and put their game on the line and show people why They're worth the money that they get for their scholarships. They're worth the money that they get from the NFL. They're worth the draft pick that they got drafted at. They're worth every position that and everything they've done or how hard they work to get where they are. So I look humble guys like that. And Jamal Adams is not a humble guy. He's a guy that thinks highly of himself and only himself. So my answer to you is I was not happy. I was very excited, very much so.
One of our fans, Carl, has a question. Pancakes or waffles?
I would have to say waffles.
He's a waffle man. Buttermilk or Belgian. What do you like?
Probably Belgian.
You like the Belgian, huh? I like the Belgian. After this, you can go to Denny's over there. I know Florida has a lot of Denny's over there, so they actually make some good waffles. So, Tampa over there. You're in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
We have Jeff from Tampa over there.
And Carl.
We can Carl too. Maybe we can hook you up with them. I'll take you out for a nice little dinner. Carl, he's a teacher. He's a coach. He's not a Florida Seminole fan, that's for sure. He's a Michigan fan. He's from Michigan. He's from Detroit. So I don't know if he's a big Florida fan, but I am. I'm a Seminole fan, and I got your back, bud. So anybody puts their hands on you, they got to deal with me. All right, last question, bud.
Well, this is a big one. What are your guys' thoughts on Antonio Brown?
Good question.
It is a good question. I mean, it's a cheap value, so it's not going to be anything much than that. He's going to probably be a number 3 type receiver with Evans and Godwin, assuming both of them are healthy at the same time, which really they haven't been so far this year. In terms of the fit with Arians, in terms of his raw offensive scheme, I think it's good. We've seen him do well with small receivers in the past. But again, how Antonio Brown's game will be removed from the league for a while and older for a smaller receiver is going to be tough to tell.
Oh, I think it's a good move by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Antonio Brown fits the scheme. I think you can move him in the slot. I think that's where Arians is going to move him. I think he's going to be more elusive in the slot, especially with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and especially with some of the teams in the NFC that really don't have good slot corners. They're the best slot corners in the NFL are from the AFC. So I think it benefits a team like the Buccaneers where they could put him in the slot. He's untouchable, and there's a lot of teams that are not going to be able to defend the ability that he has extending plays and opening the field up for Tom Brady. So I think it was a great move. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks, but I think when the playoffs come around, it's going to help the Buccaneers. But all in all, I still think the Buccaneers are missing some pieces to be a Super Bowl contending championship team. So I know a lot of people probably think I'm nuts, but look what they did against the Giants this past week.
That was surprising.
Yeah, well, it wasn't to me. If you guys actually had the opportunity to watch our show or listen to our show, I actually said the Giants would have a chance to win the game. Did I not, Speedy? Mm-hmm. So, and I think the one thing that Tom Brady can't handle is pressure up the middle. And that's what the Giants caused. That's the havoc that they put pressure on. And there are teams like a team that they're playing this week, the Saints, that love to put pressure up the middle. And you saw them in the first game, and they lost the first game. And I believe they'll lose this week as well, because I think the Saints are, when they get healthy, they're just that much better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Michael Thomas practiced this today, so that's a good sign for him.
So there you go. You can do a dance. So do you like to dance, bud?
It's not really my thing.
What do you like to sing? Really... What is your thing? What do you like to do in your spare time?
My spare time? I mean, I don't really have spare time, really.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's workout, school, and then I'll just play video games. That's it.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite video game?
It's got to be Call of Duty.
Oh, I'm not a Call of Duty fan, man. Are you?
It's got to be Call of Duty.
You like
or it's Madden. It's one of those.
Oh, so you're a good Madden player?
Yeah, but I get mad. Like, it gets me upset, just the stuff that happens. But I would say I'm pretty good at Madden, but it just...
You have a PlayStation or Xbox?
I have a PlayStation.
Oh, good. Well, we need to play. We need to play. We need to swap names and go at it. I do believe I'm going to whip your butt, but that's just me.
Yeah, the newer Maddens are also a lot glitchier too. I don't know if you've played some of the older ones in comparison. They've become a lot glitchier too, so that's probably why you get mad a lot more often.
Well, that's because Speedy stinks. That's why. I'm just kidding. He's a lot better.
Because I have a connection with all the EA Sports people.
Well, I do. I do have a couple of connections, but I'm not a video game fan. But when it comes to sports, I like to play basketball. I love football. I love hockey. I love all the sports games. Call of Duty. I can never control those guns, man. I mean, it's just so much going on. People coming behind you and shooting you in the back of the head. I mean, what kind of fun is that? I mean, I before I even get to understand where I am, I'm getting shot down. I'm getting killed. I mean, I don't like it. It's just something. And there's glitches in that game too. I mean,
there is.
There's a lot of glitches. There are guys that hide behind like walls and they shoot you dead. I mean, it's crazy. It's just not something that I like. Carl says EA Sports, it's in the game. It's absolutely in the game. It's not in my game, but it's in the game. So Koby, by the way, we are talking to Florida State tight end recruit Koby Gross, 3-star recruit. It doesn't matter what star he is. He's the Seminole star, so he's a 5-star recruit in my eyes. And anybody that has anything different, I'll smack the hell out of you. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So Koby, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
My Twitter and Instagram are the same thing. It's Koby, Koby, and then 13, and then a K at the end. So that's both of my Twitter and my Instagram.
Now, Koby, next year when the season starts, I want you to be a fan of the show. I want to get you on. I want to hear a little bit about your stories about the Seminoles outside, the parties that you're going to, the women that you're talking to. I want to know all of it. Okay, we need to be buds, man. You're the only Seminole I've actually interviewed. I've interviewed some of the top recruits in the country. I am more excited to interview you because you're playing for my team. Okay, that is an importance to me and how we move forward here. Okay, so and I hope that when you succeed as a college tight end, you go to the Jets and you play with Trevor Lawrence and you win us a couple of Super Bowls. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Oh, it sounds good for me. Hopefully that dream actually comes true. It could be a nightmare after this year. It's been a nightmare really for the last 20, 25 years of watching this team, but that's just me. Koby, thank you for joining us, bud. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Have you ever done an interview like this before?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Crazy like us?
No.
Oh, well, that's good. So you'll always remember the craziness. And remember, when you become an NFL player and you're in that draft party, you're going to invite us to your draft. I'm going to be going to a lot of draft parties, by the way. I was invited to quite a few of them. Speedy, at least 50 of them, right?
Something like that. I don't know. That's right. At this rate, you're gonna draft party hop.
Yeah, that's why not? I mean, Devin Kirkwood, the number one cornerback prospect in 2021, he invited me to his Skittles. What did he say?
I forget the
not the Skittles, the gummy
Bears,
bears.
yeah.
He's the gummy bears. He's going to have a gummy bears after party where he's going to be dancing in his gummy bears. It's going to be a party of gummy bears. So, so this is what we're going to do, bud, because you're a Skittles fan and you're playing for my Seminoles. If you score 4 touchdowns in your first year with the Seminoles, I'm going to send you a month's supply of Skittles.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm being serious now. Speedy's going to keep tabs of this.
We have video proof.
We have video proof to everything that I promised. I do. Oh, what's his name again?
Oh, the 2 pizzas.
You know, I'm going to do that tonight. I got to buy the pizza. And I got to send this. I got to get some Ziploc bags. I promised O'Reilly.
Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard, the future star quarterback for Duke, an opportunity to have try New York pizza. And the other one, who was he?
Aiden Logan,
the offensive lineman for who?
Oh, yeah. Who was he from? Was he Appalachian State?
Appalachian State, yes. Appalachian State. I told him I would send him some pieces of some pizza. So I got to figure out how I can send it to them overnight and fly it over there. I know they're probably saying that guy lied to me, but I did not lie to you guys. I will send you guys pizza. I promise you. I'm a man of my word. I pretty much stuck to my word. Koby, thank you for joining us, bud. We'll be in touch, man. I definitely want to keep in touch with you, see your growth as a player, and I know you believe, and you and I believe that you're going to be a future NFL player. Just let's hope it's for the New York Jets. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Koby Gross, ladies and gentlemen, Florida State recruit, tight end. Very happy to interview him. Nice kid. Big, strong kid. He knows that you wear tighty whities, so that's
I
that's a
don't,
plus.
but okay.
He does. He knows that you wear tighty whities.
I do not wear tighty whities. Nice try.
You're more interested in men than women. We know that a little bit, too. Kobe knows that a little bit.
Oh,
so.
God.
I mean, he was also named after Kobe Bryant, so this is also a very, very nice thing. I mean, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Shout out to him and his family, Vanessa, and his three wonderful, actually 4 wonderful young daughters. So it's sad. It's a sad story. It's sad stuff that's happened this year, and a lot of sad stuff going on in the country. Yeah, it really is. I mean, but self-destruction. Anyways, Speedy, before we go, there are some conversations with hockey. I know the New York Islanders are trying to find an offensive player. They did decide to bring back Ryan Pulik. They also are trying to give an extension to Matthew Barzal. Do you see Lou Lamoriello making a move where it could stand out for them? I mean, Patrick Lalline is going to want $7-8 million. I don't know if the Islanders are going to have the money to spot up for Patrick Lalline. They decided to bring back some players that from their farm system that can give them somewhat a little bit more offense than they got last year in the playoffs. So, is there a player that is worth making a move for?
Yeah, Line is an interesting one because, again, like I said, he's young, he's potent, and he's also better defensively than a lot of people give him credit for. Good size. In terms of in making the room cap-wise, we'll have to see if the Islanders can move some other pieces in order to do that. They got some of the extra draft picks trading for Taves. Maybe they package those to try to get rid of some of the contracts that they have. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of Lads. I think that one's just the one they're stuck with. But Boychuk's definitely one they could move. And similar to what some of these other teams have done, these younger teams have done, they might take on the contract for extra draft picks. So that's going to be something interesting. But again, it's a perfect match, I think, with Winnipeg, too. If they want a little cheaper option, Kyle Connor's definitely another one. Nikolai Kulemin, I think, or not Kulemin, Ehlers is still pretty young, where he's definitely somebody they could trade for, too. That's not going to be as expensive. They're not going to give up much for that, because the Jets do need defense. So I think regardless, it's a perfect match for them, and I think that's what you're going to see definitely for the Islanders, because not a lot of teams need offense, but a lot of teams need defense, and the Islanders have those pieces to be able to make that work. And the Islanders, really, they're just that one offensive player away, like we've been mentioning.
Well. We will be back on Saturday, the Weekend Crunch, with me and Eric Coleman. Guys, if you don't listen to the show, we have a great show. We're working on some big things moving forward with the show. So definitely, if you live in Long Island, you're a New York sports fan, you have to listen to the show. It's on 103.9, the LI News Radio Network. It's a great show. We have great guests. Eric's a guest by himself. The show's been a lot more funnier, more interesting, and definitely the backlash of some of the different segments that we get into is something definitely to tune into, especially moving forward with what we're doing with the network and the show. So definitely do that if you guys haven't tuned into it. It's on at 7 p.m. New York Eastern Time on 103.9. If you don't live here in New York, you can actually go to TuneIn. You can go to iHeartRadio and check it out on 103.9, the LI News Radio network, and you can stay tuned and listen to some of the great content that we put out there. We had great shows today. We have some shows tomorrow. The Ryan Hickey show's tomorrow. We are going to be getting next week back the Wise Guys. They're coming back next week, so our shows are starting to fill in. I'm trying to work out some other things and work out some different things that are coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that. Until Wednesday, until Monday of next week, we will be back with Down to the Wire. We're going to have some guests. We'll have some fun, and we'll make sure that Speedy gets out of those tidy whities. Until then, this is Errol Marks and Speedy Petey saying good night, and we'll talk to you then. Good night, everybody.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.